It was, in fact, a worldwide attack matrix. And when you've got a sociopath like Dick Cheney sitting there basically calling the shots, it was get even time, obviously, for him and his closest advisor.
Well, let me ask you this. From the MO we've got from when Rumsfeld brought in Cheney during Ford, as you know, that it's really Rumsfeld is the one, even through the last administration, that was really the real president. People say it was Cheney, but in that weird relationship, do you agree that Rumsfeld was actually above him?
Well, this was a mentoring type relationship that they had. These two individuals are like frick and frack when it comes to modern American politics, and certainly it was Cheney that was very upset when Bush, I guess, listened to his daddy and said, "It's time to get rid of Rumsfeld." And Cheney was very much opposed to that, as much as he was against Bush's decision not to pardon Scooter Libby. I think we see what the network was that committed these war crimes, and that's why.
But is Rumsfeld at the top of the Cheney pyramid, or is Cheney there?
I think you'd have to separate these two guys with a crowbar. I think they're almost like brothers in arms. Certainly, Rumsfeld in the Ford administration was the chief of staff, went on to become the Secretary of Defense, and then, of course, Cheney moved up to become chief of staff for Ford. But their whole purpose in the Ford administration was to make sure the new Democratic Congress, in the wake of Watergate, did not take all these imperial powers away from the White House.
In fact, they expanded it. They wrote the current COG that the National Security Council is using for the Northcom takeover, and now the Pentagon, as you know, Wayne, wants 400,000 troops. A year ago, it was 20,000. Now it's 400,000 on the streets of America?
That's right. That's right. And certainly we know that they were the ones behind the CIA, getting rid of Bill Colby as CIA director. Bill Colby was trying to come clean on a lot of these issues, including assassinations, Allende in Chile, and other things that came out.
Stay there. Final segment. I want to ask you what the big CIA news is. You said you were in the archives, got something breaking. Stay with us. This is Alex Jones. Have you heard of the Millionaire Patriot? Well, you should. He has a free handgun and 5 days of firearms training waiting for you. That's right. You can attend 5 days of world-class gun training at Front Sight Firearms Training Institute and secure a 30-state concealed weapons permit, all for pennies on the dollar. Plus, if you act fast, the Millionaire Patriot will give you a free Springfield Armory XD pistol in the caliber of your choice. I believe now is the time that you and your family need to be armed and trained to levels that exceed law enforcement and military standards. Front Sight provides such training without any boot camp mentality or drill instructor attitudes. This is real. Don't miss out. Secure a Front Sight defensive handgun course, plus a 30-state concealed weapons permit for pennies on the dollar, and get your free handgun. Go to frontsight.com today. That's FRONTSIGHT.com. Go to frontsight.com for your training and free gun. Wayne, you were getting into Blackwater and the sex slave children. We talked about that years ago with Halliburton and DynCorp, congressional hearings, Chicago Tribune, Psychology Today makes jokes about it. I mean, we're not schizophrenic. It's in congressional hearings about this now. You've got some more intel on that with them tied into Thailand.
Well, just in the last couple of days, under a new Justice Department program called Twisted Traveler, they busted the first time under this program 3 Americans in Cambodia for engaging in sex with kids there. The problem is that the State Department was said to have been involved with this investigation through the Diplomatic Security Service. I've checked this out. I mean, the U.S. embassies in Southeast Asia are rife with pedophiles. They're diplomats. I've actually discovered that they provide, in some cases, child prostitutes for visiting U.S. VIPs, including members of Congress. I've been trying to get a list of all the congressional delegations that have been down there since the 1990s, specifically 96 to the present time. When these guys get caught, instead of prosecuting them, sending them back to the United States, they simply transfer them to another embassy in Southeast Asia where they're allowed to continue these decadent practices. So it's fine the Justice Department is looking at it. They're getting the low-hanging fruit here, though. They're not going after the diplomats, the CIA stations that are involved in this, especially for blackmail purposes. Everything from local businessmen to members of Congress.
Well, Wayne, in closing, every time I'm researching globalism, I'm not even looking for it, and you run into pedophiles. From your research, is it a pedophile guild at all levels of government in key man positions that are really running things?
Well, I have to say that in the State Department, it's one of the worst case scenarios for this type of thing. The state, as I say, the diplomatic corps in Southeast Asia, including ambassadors, either are involved with this or give a wink and a nod to it. Consular officials do the same thing. We're talking about an underground cult that basically looks out for one another.
Well, that's what we find even in state investigations. I mean, it's just we kick open the doors and it's always satanic pedophiles and weirdos and scum, and it just, God help us with these people. That's the New World Order. Wayne, when you can get on a landline in the next few days, I want to be back on this subject specifically. WayneMadsenReport.com, WayneMadsenReport.com, or TheWayneMadsenReport.com. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Good to be with you, Alan.
All right, there he goes.